It's one of the two blockbuster hits of the summer, Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. It is the story of J.J. Oppenheimer, the man behind the Manhattan Project. That's when America's greatest scientific minds came together during World War II to create the world's first atomic bomb. Now, while the movie's focus is on Oppenheimer, it wasn't a solo effort. It relied on a collaboration of scientists from across the country, and one of those scientists was Harley Wilhelm, a chemistry professor at Iowa State University in Ames. Now, some call him the unsung hero whose scientific innovations helped build the first atomic bomb that ended World War II. And joining us now is award-winning author, his granddaughter of Harley Wilhelm, and it's Teresa Waldof. Teresa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
This is such an honor to be able to interview you because you have so many behind-the-scenes stories, I'm sure. But what inspired you to write your book?
Well, I had learned about my grandfather in 1986 when they named a building after him at Iowa State. My family said, come to Iowa to see this, and I was so surprised because he was very humble. I didn't know about his efforts during World War II. And I learned about it, but it took a few decades before I actually got around to getting to writing a book.
Yeah, because that's not what you do.
No, I'm in operations and sales management.
Yeah,
yes.
but now hopefully this will take off for you. You're an award-winning author now. So tell us a little bit about how your grandfather saved the Manhattan Project.
Well, as the Manhattan Project was getting underway, the physicists needed pure uranium. However, that did not exist. In the 150 years since uranium had been discovered, no one had been able to purify it. This was a major obstacle to overcome. And the need for pure uranium was because impurities would steal neutrons and kill a chain reaction. So he was actually tasked with finding a substitute for pure uranium because Arthur Compton, who ran the Manhattan Project, did not believe that it was going to be solved in time. He had Columbia working on it, Princeton University, Westinghouse, a lot of really smart people working on this problem of solving pure uranium. So Wilhelm was tasked with doing this on the side. He decided, I'm going to purify uranium. I'm going to figure it out on my own, even though I'm supposed to find a substitute.
And he did.
And he did. And he solved it in 6 months, something that people had not solved in 150 years.
And it was a rush to figure out who was going to create the first atomic bomb.
Yes.
And how has history changed? How has your grandfather impacted what we know as history today?
Well, you know, his side of the story, the chemistry of it, was really kind of forgotten. And we know about the physicists, and there's a lot written about that. But our world today was impacted by having nuclear energy, by having agriculture tracers, nuclear medicine. Even rover on Mars can be traced back to Wilhelm because those spaceships are powered by plutonium, and plutonium is derived from uranium, which has to be pure. So Wilhelm, everything having to do with nuclear can be tied back to Wilhelm.
That's amazing. So tell us a little bit. Obviously, this is an unsung hero, as we're saying, and had such a huge impact on the outcome of history for our country. But he was a grandfather to you. So tell us a little bit about what kind of a man and grandpa he was.
Well, we called him Grandpappy. And he was just this affable guy, very likable, very easygoing, and fun to be around. He played different musical instruments, and he was the scientist on the side that I didn't know about. And he never really talked about it. And he was so humble. He came from meager means. He grew up in southern Iowa, a sharecropper son, very poor, and it was very unlikely that this particular child would grow up to be somebody who changed world history. And he was just a great guy.
Quite an athlete, I understand, too.
Yes,
right?
he was. He was discovered. Basketball came into town around 1910, and he learned how to play, and he was phenomenal. He could take the ball and throw it over his head backwards, and it would go in. He was discovered by a coach from Drake University who said, we got to get this kid to come to Drake. But his high school was unaccredited, so they thought he might flunk out. And they made him take entrance exams, which he did very well on, and he ended up becoming a charter member of Phi Beta Kappa at Drake University. He was the captain of the basketball team, and they set a record, a win-loss record that held for over 50 years.
Oh, that's a great story. Such fond memories. And I love a quote that you had in the book where you say, Wilhelm's Way introduces a man whose pivotal life events led him to be where the nation and the world needed him to be at just the right moment. That's such a beautiful quote.
Thank you.
Teresa, thank you so much, and continued success.
Thank
I know
you.
you've won 4 awards already. Maybe there's more in your future. Let's hope so.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you again. You bet.